HELPLINE. Good morning to all of you. We'll have a class on Union Legislature. I mean the Parliament too. Last class we had discussed very important questions on Parliament, and today I'm bringing previous year questions on Parliament. You can see the depth of the questions and the standard of questions that are appearing in the last few years. So there are certain questions which are a little bit tough for the practitioners or the beginners. You have to understand the rationally of these questions, how the questions are asked. We can learn more about this pattern by resolving these questions. Okay, I introduced you to Parliament of India. I told you that it is a multifunctional body. It has a lot of functions and it has a lot of arrangements, internal arrangements for functioning. There are committee system, there are control system, there are your fund granted by the Parliament, there are different procedures. So it is a very, you can see it is a very highly important body and a very significant for parliamentary democracy. So therefore the questions are also based upon these tidbits, complicacies of Parliament. Okay, so we'll examine this. You will see there are a lot of very significant questions that appeared in the last few years. Union Legislature too. Look at question 1. I'm SK out here to introduce you these previous year ones. Okay. The provision for the Contingency Fund of India results in. Remember, Contingency Fund of India is you can say Contingency Fund of India is a fund under the government of India under Article 267. Article 267, it is an emergency fund. It is an emergency fund. Remember, this fund is operated by executive action. There are another fund which are called Consolidated Fund of India, which is kept at under the custody of the Parliament. So any money to be sanctioned from the Consolidated Fund of India to be approved by Parliament. So as Parliament does not meet regularly, so to meet unforeseen expenditures by the executive or by the government, the Constitution provides a Contingency Fund of India or Emergency Fund of India under Article 267. So what does it do? It enables the government to meet unforeseen expenditure. Enable the government to meet unforeseen expenditure. So let us see which option matches this provision. Option A, absolving the executive from preparing the estimates of the expenditure. No, there is no such sense at all. The option does not have any sense. Compelling the legislature to approve the expenditure. No. Reducing the legislative control over the executive. Not at all. Providing a safety valve to tide over the crisis by the executive. That will be the best option. Providing a safety valve. The Contingency Fund of India acts as a safety valve. It means that whenever there is a shortage of money whenever there is a shortage of money, then the executive will withdraw the money from contingency fund of India, and to meet the expenditure, then it will introduce a bill for a grant introduce a proposal for grant for the same amount which it has drawn from contingency fund of India. Then the corpus in the contingency fund of India will be maintained. So it is a standing corpus. The standing fund of contingency fund of India is 30,000 crore. 30,000 crore is the standing fund of the contingency fund. Always there is 30,000 crore. It was increased in 2021. Earlier it was 500. At the beginning of the constitution, at the commencement of the constitution, there was only 50 crore. So now this constitution, the corpus or the fund limit, the fund deposit of the contingency fund has been increased to 30,000 crore in 2021. So answer will be D. Got it? Consider the following statements relating to procedure of the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha are elected by the members of the House. House rules of procedure in the Lok Sabha contains these provisions. Remember, they are not clearly mentioned in the constitution how will they be elected, but this is based upon the rules and procedure of Parliament, and there are different provisions. So the election of the Speaker shall be held on such a date as the Prime Minister may fix, and the Secretary General shall send to every member notice. This part of the question is wrong. Prime Minister may fix. It is the President that fixes. It is the President that fixes the date of election of the Speaker. Although Secretary General does these things, but this is partially correct because the Prime Minister is not the appropriate authority to fix the election of the Speaker. It is the President who will fix the election of the Speaker, and accordingly election will be held. So it is a wrong statement. And with regards to the election of the Deputy Speaker shall be held on such date as the Speaker may fix, and the Secretary General shall send to every member notice of this date. Yes, that is correct statement. So election of the Speaker is decided by the President, and the election of the Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker himself. So option 2 is correct, option 1 is incorrect. So answer will be only 1, only 2 will be the answer. You can notice that only 2. So B. Okay. Next we will come to which of the following statement is not correct. An appropriation act is not essential for passing a grant under the vote of credit. Okay. Reappropriation is not correct. Reappropriation does not involve any additional expenditure. Let us examine others. I will tell you the answer. Reappropriation does not involve an additional expense. Reappropriation means that is we call token grant. Token grant is there, but a grant that is known as token grant, under which money is not sanctioned, rather a money sanctioned for a particular service in the ongoing year, financial year, can be transferred to another new service. And in this regard, suppose X was a service, X was a scheme for which 1,000 crore was sanctioned, but this was not spent by government. Government could not spend this amount because the service, the scheme was rejected or was not accepted, or later it was found that it would not be appropriate to implement the scheme. but money has been sanctioned. Money is with now the executive. Parliament has already sanctioned this money to the executive. Then the executive does not want to return this money to Parliament. Then what will it do? It will spend the money in other new service. Then it starts another service, suppose Y, and the 1000 rupee will be 1000 crore will be transferred to the Y scheme. That is called reappropriation. So for this purpose, Parliament does not pass any extra money. It passes a rupees grant, 1 rupee grant, rupees 1 grant as a token grant. Therefore, reappropriation does not need any additional expense. The Rajya Sabha has no power to vote on demand. That is also correct. Demand for grants are found in budget, and they are exclusive privileges of the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha does not have any power to vote on the demand for grants. No amendment can be proposed in the appropriation bill in either house of parliament. That is also correct. An appropriation bill finds the fifth stage in budget, and appropriation bill is the almost the final stage. After the passage of appropriation bill by each house of parliament separately, the government will be enabled to withdraw the budget allocation or the outlay of the budget, total amount of the budget. So that is correct. Then option A will be the answer. Appropriation Act does not essential for passing a grant of vote of credit. Vote of credit is mentioned in Article 116, under which some undefined amount of money is sanctioned for meeting a project or meeting any scheme of the government whose prior estimation is not done. So it is called a blank check, because no amount is mentioned in this type of grant. So it is given to the executive as a blank check. The executive will be in a position to spend as much money as it requires for the fulfillment of the implementation of the scheme. But there is a appropriation act needs to be passed. Any money to be sanctioned from the consolidated fund of India requires consolidated fund of India requires appropriation. Consolidated fund of India, it is the fund in which all the revenues of the government of India are deposited, and whenever money requires, the parliament passes an appropriation act, and through an appropriation act the executive can withdraw money from the consolidated fund of India. So that is not correct. Answer is A. Got it? Which one of the following statement is not correct? Very good question, but remember, try to understand each point. Any point that troubles you, you can put in your comment, and I'll resolve it in the next class. Okay, but try to understand each point clearly from your angle and try to digest the things, why this system is there, what are the system of systems, what are the provisions related to functioning of parliament. These are the provisions, some of the provisions we have discussed. Number 4, according to the Constitution of India, Lok Sabha must meet at least. Article 85 of the Constitution deals with the sessions. According to this article, Lok Sabha must meet twice each year, with not more than 6 months between sessions. So 6 months. There must be 2 sessions in each year. There cannot be a gap of more than 6 months between 2 sessions. That means Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha must meet twice a year at least. They may meet for more time, but they must meet twice. Otherwise it will not be there. D. Got it? Next is your consider the following statements. The nature of a bill, if it is certified by the Speaker of the House of the People as a money bill, is not open to question in a court of law. The nature of bill, if it is certified by the Speaker of the House of the People as a money bill, is not open to question. Yes, that is also there, but there was an Other bill controversy in 2016 in which Supreme Court held, okay, so that is there. But in other bill in 2016 there was a controversy, but so far the thing stands appropriate. No change in the provision. The Speaker's decision whether a bill is money bill or not is final and binding. So the standing rule is like that. Number 1 is correct. Number 2, President of India has the power to question the nature of bill to be taken as a money bill even it is certified to be so by the Speaker of the House. No such provisions is provided in the Constitution. President gives prior recommendation to the President to the money bill for introduction, and as soon as it is certified by Speaker, the President gives the prior recommendation. So there is no such provision. Only one will be the answer. Only one will be the answer. There is no mention about this. Number A. Money bill is dealt under Article 109 and Article 110. Study more about money bills, get a clear idea what constitutes a money bill. Okay, number 6, assertion. The estimates that relate to the expenditure, the estimates relates to that expenditure charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India shall not be submitted to the vote of Parliament. That's correct. The expenditure charged upon, that is called votable expenditure, non-votable expenditure. There are two types of expenditure, that is non-votable and votable. The votable expenditures may be discussed and voted. During voting, they can be reduced, they can be altered. But non-votable expenditures are not subject to vote by the Parliament. They can only be discussed. They cannot be submitted. That means there can be no change by Parliament in the expenditures. There are special expenditure, for example, related to the salaries, allowances and pension of the office of the President, Vice Chairperson of Rajya Sabha, Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Judges of Supreme Court, High Court, so on, Controller, Auditor General of India, and the Chairperson and members of UPSC and other bodies. And debt charges. There are a lot of expenditures which are considered to be charged expenditure and is decided by the President. So therefore, assertion is correct. Parliament is not empowered to discuss expenditure charged upon the Constitution. I told you that Parliament can discuss it. It's not is wrong. It can discuss. It can discuss expenditures, but it cannot vote. It cannot vote. So A is right, R is wrong. So A is true, but R is false. That means answer C will be the appropriate answer. Option C will be the appropriate answer. Option C. A is true, but R is false. Got it? What does the rule of lapse means? Rule of lapse or March Ross called March Ross. Rule of lapse means all the money sanctioned by the Parliament to the executive at the beginning of financial year. At the beginning of financial year, the money sanctioned by Parliament to the executive will lapse at the end of the financial year automatically. Will lapse. That means the executive suppose 5,000 crore was sanctioned to a particular department for financial year 2022 and 2023 and 24. If the department has spent only 4,000 crore, then the 1,000 crore, 4,000 crore gone that it will remaining amount is 1,000 crore will be again come to the Consolidated Fund of India. When? At the end of financial year. That is known as rule of lapse. That is known as rule of lapse. It is a parliamentary tradition. So we like that all pending bills in parliament lapse with prorogation. No, all appropriation voted by the parliament expire at the end of financial. That is the correct. All appropriations vote. Appropriation means sanction of money. So B. Appropriation means what? Sanction of money. From where? Sanctions of money for where? From Consolidated Fund of India. From Consolidated Fund of India. Okay, that is known as appropriations voted by parliament at the end of B. So option B is correct. Option B is correct. The object of adjournment motion in parliament is to adjournment motion is a special motion which is introduced in parliament, especially in Lok Sabha. Especially in Lok Sabha. So most important is to raise an important matter or a matter of urgent public importance. To raise a matter of urgent public importance and to criticize or to suggest the government to do or to collect the standing of the government, the position of the government to a particular issue or urgent issue which is facing the nation. If any issue facing the nation and the opposition wants to know what the government has done and what the government should do, then it moves the motion, adjournment. So here, if you look at the 4 options available, the first option is not correct. Second option is not at all related to adjournment motion. It is a cut motion. Make a cut in the budget proposals. It is called cut motion. Criticize a particular policy. Yes. Criticize a particular policy. So C. I think the best answer will be C. Criticize a particular policy of the government. Okay, that will be option C. Option C will be the answer. Which one of the following is the correct sequence of the given stages in relation to enactment of the budget? Which of the following is the correct stages? Correct stages of the budget. See, budget, if you look at the stages of the budget, let me outline the budget stages first. It is presentation of budget. Presentation, general discussion, GD, scrutiny stage or committee stage. Scrutiny stage or committee stage because these are scrutinized by the committee. Demand for grants. Then will be demands for voting on demand for grants, voting, and voting on appropriation acts, appropriation bills, and finance bills. Look at the 6 stages, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the option is option A, voting on demand for grants. Voting on demand for grants, okay. General discussion, no. That is incorrect because first general discussion is there, then voting is 4th stage. So it is given first stage, so it is outrightly rejected. Then your option B, okay, general discussion, all right. Voting for demands, all right. Consideration of passing of appropriation bills, all right. Consideration and finance. Okay, this seems appropriate. B. This seems appropriate. B. Other options are, you can look at other options. General discussion is not there in the beginning. If you look at other, option C begins with voting up for demand for grants. Option D, discussion. General discussion is first there. Then consideration of the finance bill. Finance bill is constitute the last stage. It constitutes the last stage of the budget. So it is not correct. So answer will be B. Answer will be B. Got it? We are going slowly but steadily and explaining everything in little bit. Explaining it heavily in deeply. I am expanding the idea and try to convince you from the basics with the limited time available for discussion. I am trying to bring home all those concepts which are not understood properly. So I hope you are being convinced by this. Okay. So that is the things. So let us look at then we will come to question number 10. Okay. Not including in the Rajya Sabha. Okay. In the Rajya Sabha. So that will be 1 minute. Okay. So here some states seats are given. Maharashtra is correct. Okay, and Tamil Nadu is correct. Then Bihar sends 16 seats. Earlier it was 21 seats, and by Bihar Reorganization Act, the 16 seats are retained by Bihar, and 5 seats are for Jharkhand. So that is incorrect. C. C will be the answer. C will be the answers. Then we will come to another question, question number 11. Stay with me. Which one of the following events is not considered to be an indication of loss of confidence of the lower house of parliament? Confidence. Indication of loss of confidence means loss of majority in the lower house. Lower house means Lok Sabha, which is not real loss. See, adjournment motion is carried. Adjournment motion is introduced by the Lok Sabha against the government. If adjournment motion is passed by majority in the house, then it will show what? It will show that government does not have majority. Then that means government does not have majority, so that is appropriate. It is there. Vote of thanks of the president address is not carried. Yes. Vote of thanks or motion of thanks. Like motion of thanks is also called motion of thanks. And motion of thanks is just, you must have seen that in the few days ago, 2, 3, 4 days ago, there was a motion of thanks on the speech delivered by the President of India after the commencement of the Lok Sabha, after general elections. So there is a provision in the Constitution under Article 87 that the President shall address the Parliament at the commencement of the Lok Sabha after general election and also at the commencement of first session of a year. That is a parliamentary provision. And after the president finishes its speech, the parliament brings a motion to thank him, that is called motion of thanks, and it is introduced by the ruling party. If the motion of thanks is not voted by majority of the members, then it will show that government has loss of confidence. Court motion only is passed. Court motion is also a type of motions introduced by the opposition against the government during the passage of budget or demand for grants in Lok Sabha. And if court motions are passed, then it will show that government has loss of confidence. But censure motion is introduced in parliament, which is not usually voted, and it is censure against the government, criticism or criticizing the government or minister or ministers, even the council of ministers. But that does not amount to loss of confidence because it is not voted, first of all. So option D will be the appropriate answer to question number 11. Got it? Now we'll come to question number 12. Consider the following statements. A bill is deemed to be a money bill if it contains any provision dealing with the alteration or regulation of the tax, okay, then regulation of borrowings, okay, regulations of borrowing. That is, let us examine the points. Alteration and regulation of tax will come under definition of money bill under Article 110, definition of money bill. Regulation of the borrowings of the money, yes, that will also come under the definition of money bill. So 1, 2 are correct. 3, appropriation of money out of the consolidated fund of India, obviously. Custodial contingency fund of India is. So all these factors are responsible for or amount to the definition of money bill. So option 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the correct option for question number 12. So that is D. Option 12. Question 12. The Rajya Sabha has exclusive jurisdiction. See, Rajya Sabha has much more similar power with the Lok Sabha in many respects. If you see, there are a lot of areas where Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha has equal power and equal privileges. Remember, only in passage of money bill and removal of the government, Lok Sabha has exclusive powers. Only in case of monetary matters and matters related to the confidence of the House, because the executive or the council of ministers are responsible to Parliament or Lok Sabha. So except these two matters, removal of the government and monetary matters, Rajya Sabha has almost all equal powers with Lok Sabha. Apart from equal powers, Rajya Sabha has some special powers. That is your what? That is your the creation and abolition of all India services, request or make a resolution for bringing a resolution on the state list, after which the Parliament enacts act. So there are a lot of things that Rajya Sabha can do. Passage of or approval of emergency, national emergency when Lok Sabha is not in session. So there are a lot of special powers. Here approving a proclamation of national emergency is not mentioned. Yes. That is mentioned, but not mentioned that when Lok Sabha is when the Lok Sabha is not in session. that then it will be a special power. But approval of proclamation of emergency, when Lok Sabha exists, then both the houses have equal powers. Both have to approve it. So it is not a special power here. The creation and abolition of state is the responsibility of both the houses. The election of the vice president, where both the houses do participate, the members, all members of both the houses participates under Article 66 of the Constitution. Authorizing the Parliament to legislate on a state subject in the state list, that is a special power here. Article 249. Article 249 says that Parliament can legislate on any matter mentioned in the state list if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to that effect in special majority under Article 249. Got it? So that is also, and the creation and the abolition of All India services is another power, and approval of proclamation of national emergency in case Lok Sabha is not in session, that is also a power, but it is not clearly mentioned here, therefore it is wrong. So option D will be correct. Article 249, Article 312, these are exclusive power of and in case of even removal of Lok Sabha, removal of the vice president, Rajya Sabha has exclusive power. Rajya Sabha has to initiate the process of removal of the vice president, after which Lok Sabha will agree upon that. Lok Sabha does not have power to initiate the process of removal of the vice president under Article 67. So these are exclusive power, and here answer is D. We have already mentioned question number 13. Now question number 14. When demand for grants are introduced in the Lok Sabha, the Speaker applies the guillotine. Guillotine is a kind of motion which is introduced. It is you can say it is the last resort, last option available to the Parliament to pass the bills or pass anything like that. So due to lack of time, Parliament is unable to pass all the bills with proper discussion and deliberations. In the modern time, the heap of bills is increasing geometrically. Most of the bills are passed without discussion even. So at the time of the budget demand for grants, there are a lot of demands, 294 or more than that, if I am right. There are more than 294 demands are introduced, and they require a lot of time to be passed. But as the time given ends, then the Parliament has to take up all the discussed and undiscussed demands and put it to vote at one time. That is why it is known as guillotine. Guillotine is a negative device, or is a parliamentary device which allows that, and when it is that, after demands are discussed and approved, no. After the demands are discussed and voted on, no. When the demands are discussed and reduced, no. When the time allotted is coming to a close. When the time allotted for what? For discussion and passage of demand for grants. Passage of demand for grants. Demands for grants. Got it? So D will be the appropriate answer. D will be the appropriate answer. D will be the appropriate answer. Okay. So that is there. Next we'll come to question number 15. Okay. So 15 or motion formation is about cut motion. Let me reduce the size of the scheme for your visuals. I hope you can see the motions first. Is it visible or comprehensible to all of you? I hope that they are comprehensible. Look at match list 1 and list 2 List 1 is parliamentary device or parliamentary methodologies and the object of those motions, substance. Cut motion, call attention motion, privilege motion, adjournment motion. Remember, they are known as devices. Or devices of what? Devices of parliamentary control over the executive. Devices of parliamentary control over the executive. So let me explain you that cut motion. Cut motion is a motion, its name is enough. It moved to reduce or to move a proposal to reduce expenditure on the budget proposal. It is introduced during the budget, passage of budget. So that will be best option is A is 3. A is 3. To move the reduce. Reduce, if it is reduced, then it will be cut motion. And remember, cut motions are allowed during the passage of the budget. It is an exclusive device in the hand of the opposition to have a control over the financial expenditures. Then call attention motion. Call attention motion is to draw the attention of a minister on the matters of urgent public importance. The minister concerned, if something related to agriculture or farmers or the related agricultural aspects, then the attention of the agriculture ministry will be drawn. So that is also a type of, that is also the type of motion. So it will come under option 1, draw the attention. Draw the attention. 3 1 3 1 3 1. Then C. Let us see what C says. C C. Privilege motion. Privilege motion is proved, is allowed. Privilege motion is if the member thinks that the privileges of the house is broken. Interpret the normal business, conclude the discussion on the demand for grants, no. So draw the attention of the speaker towards incorrect and yes, that is the break of privileges. So number 2, privilege means what? The ministers, if the ministers provide wrong answer, then it is an offense to the parliament or to the members. If they misleading information, if they provide misleading information or wrong information to the members, then it damages or affects the reputation of the members and also the parliament. Therefore, privilege motion is carried and the minister has to comply with all these things. So C2. Then let us see what is D. What is D? Let us see what is D. D is adjournment motion. Adjournment motion is, yes, to interrupt the normal business of the house, because adjournment motion is suddenly carried. Suppose today there is a railway accident in the country and tomorrow morning the parliament may bring adjournment motion, discuss the matters and want to know that government due to the, and they will communicate to the government their lapses, about their lapses, and also seek constructive answer from the government on the issue that facing the nation. So it is carried on urgent public importance. Therefore, it is suddenly allowed in the parliament and disturb the normal business. Here normal business means the question hour, 0 hour or agenda that have taken place in the house regularly. So that is will be there. So answer will be 3 1 3 1. 3124. Answer will be 3124. So answer will be 3134. Sorry. 3124. Answer option A. Option A. Option A. Question number 16. Very good questions, isn't it? The method of selection of the members of Rajya Sabha on the basis of proportional representation by the state legislature was borrowed from. The Rajya Sabha members are elected under Article 80 of the Constitution. 81 clause 1 says that Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly, and they will be elected by the elected members of the members of legislative assemblies of the state and also legislative assemblies of the union territories which have this arrangement, and it is borrowed from the South African Constitution of the South Africa. But remember, the nomination of members to Rajya Sabha is borrowed from Irish Constitution of Ireland. Members of Rajya Sabha are both elected and nominated. The election procedure is from South Africa. Question number 17. Which one of the following statement is correct? Parliament can make law with respect to matters in the state list in the national interest if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by 2/3 majority. Okay. By special majority, it's not 2/3 of the members present and voting. Okay, anyway, but the answer will be correct. D. Target the option if available, then don't go through other options. If the option is available and it appears in the options, then you need not to go to other options and examine them, because time is a very important matter at the time of dealing with the election. At the time of dealing with the examinations. So don't waste your time examining each option if the option is itself available and is directly visible to you. Okay, so option D will be there. Under Article 249, Rajya Sabha can pass a resolution. 18. Payment from the Consolidated Fund of India are authorized by, I told you, Appropriation Act. B. Vote of credit provides. I told you 12 vote of credits about. So 18 answer is B. 18 answer is B. Then look at question number 19. I introduced you to vote of credit. If you understand it, vote of credit is a grant made by Parliament to the executive to meet certain expenditures upon the resources of India whose prior estimation is not feasible. It is such a project or such a scheme where it is not certain how much money will be required to complete the project. You are getting the point or not? Okay? How much money is required for getting the project completed? Then the Parliament passes it as a blank check. No amount is mentioned. I told you under Article 116. That is a provision of vote of credit. So let us see which option matches it. An exceptional grant which forms no part of the current financial year, that is called exceptional grant. It is also mentioned in Article 116. Exceptional grant is a type of grant itself. Any grant in advance in respect of estimated expenditure for a part of any financial year, that is vote on account. A grant for meeting an unexpected demand upon the resources of India, that will be correct option. Hence remember, it is called a blank check. It is called a blank check in this respect because no amount is mentioned, and remember it is mentioned in Article 116. Exceptional grant, vote on account and vote of credit. Three things are mentioned in Article 116. Got it? Next we will come to Article question 20. Which one of the following is not a measure of control exercised by the parliament over government? But remember, in a parliamentary government, the parliament controls the executive accountability to legislature. That is a core principle of parliamentary government, and parliament has many devices to control. There are many methods of control, although the control does not exist in substance as the executive enjoys majority in the house, but that is a different part of the things. Remember, parliamentary control over the executive is a must. Whether it is strong or weak, that depends on the size of the opposition, that depends. But parliamentary control is a must in a parliamentary democracy. There are many mechanisms which enable the parliament to control the executive. Let us examine these options and see who among them are the mechanisms and who is not. Asking questions is a very substantial method of mechanism. It begins in the first hour of parliament every day, and during this time members raise questions to the government. So this is an effective, most effective method of, or most visible method of control in parliament. Committee system is also there because there are a lot of committees in parliament. There are financial committee, there are administrative committee, there are control committee, scrutiny committee, privilege committee. There are a lot of committees are there, and all the committees' sole objective is to exercise control and to ensure that the executive is running in accordance with the constitution, in accordance with the law, and it's doing or spending public money in a required manner. Review of decision is no such provision is there. C. So there is no such provision in review of decision. This is a vague term, ambiguous option. So that will be correct. No concurrence motion is also as effective as question hour. It is a control mechanism. Okay, C. So 20 answer will be C. 21. Consider the following statements. First, let us examine the first option, first statement. A bill returned by the President for reconsideration does not lapse. A bill returned by the President for reconsideration does not lapse on the dissolution of the House. So, yes. Because when does President return a bill? When the bill is transmitted to him. And when the bill is transmitted to him, when the bill is passed by the House. So if the bill is already passed by the House and the President now wants to return the bill for reconsideration, then it will be led to the new Lok Sabha. Whether it will amend the bill or reject the bill, it is called suspensive veto of Parliament. It is called suspensive veto. Okay. And that is possible. That is possible. Okay. So consider the following statement. Bill returned, it is possible. It is possible. It is right. Look at option 2. Option 1 is correct. Option 2, a bill passed by the Lok Sabha and pending in the Rajya Sabha, passed by Lok Sabha, pending in the Lok Sabha, pending in the Rajya Sabha, lapses on the dissolution, yes. Because Rajya Sabha may send back to the bill Lok Sabha if any amendment is done by it, then that exact Lok Sabha is not there because it is dissolved. Therefore, the bill also lapses. So that is correct. 1, 2 correct. A bill under consideration of the Lok Sabha lapses when the Lok Sabha is prorogued. That is wrong. No bill lapses in the prorogation. Prorogation does not bring an end to bill, motion, resolution, etc. Only certain kind of notices are lapses. Certain kinds of notices issued by the House lapse. So prorogation does not have effect on the introduction of bills and passage of the bill, on the introduction of bills, motions, and your notices, etc. That is incorrect. For a bill pending in the Rajya Sabha but not passed by the Lok Sabha, pending in the Rajya Sabha but not passed by the Lok Sabha, does not lapse. Yes. Then means 1, 2 and 4 are correct. 3 is incorrect. Got it? So that is your thing. Then 1, 2, 4 will be the answer. Yes. Option D. Okay. Okay, students, you are going through well. And how are the questions? How are the questions? You can examine how are the questions. They are very important questions, vital questions. And dealing with this type of question will expand your horizon of knowledge and will enable you to crack or to examine the questions and attend the questions properly. So take always good classes. Good classes give you good ideas. Many things are available on YouTube, but related to UPSC and OPS examination, but all are not up to the standard. Examine the standard, examine the nature of the questions they are discussing. This type of questions are inherent to UPSC and OPS examinations. If you do not discuss these type of questions, then it will not enable you to do justice on the day of examinations. Okay, so deal with tough and tougher questions that will harden your spirit and that will also enable you to expand your ideas. Question number 22, boys and girls, once one of the following statements holds good in respect of Rajya Sabha. So here in Rajya Sabha, you can see it is a permanent chamber and 1/3 members retire at the end of every 2 years. 1/3 member retires at the end of every 2 years. Yes. So that is under Article 80. Under Article 80, if you suggest, because Rajya Sabha is a permanent chamber, permanent chamber means it does not have a term. There is no simultaneous election to Rajya Sabha for all members. The Rajya Sabha members retire, 1/3 of its member retired at the end of every 2 years. Therefore, a member has 6-year term. So that is 1/3 members, that is provided under Representation of People's Act 1951. D, 1/3 members. Hence, the term of Rajya Sabha members, the term of a Rajya Sabha member is 6 years. That is D. Okay, guys. So we have discussed today certain valuable questions. Next class I shall be bringing similar questions on Parliament. So Union Legislature 3 part will be discussed on the next polity classes. Wait and watch and give your robust ideas, robust suggestions for improvement in if any. Okay, believe in us, trust in us, and watch our classes for your preparation. And I hope these classes will definitely strengthen your concept and will enable you to crack the prelim and also the mains at 1 or 2 goals. Okay, so these are the questions. There are a lot of questions. There are some more questions are left for discussion related to previous year questions. I am also adding the OPSC questions in between. Okay, and I am also explaining the reason why this should be the answer, why this should not be the answer, citing some examples within the limited space of time. So I hope this is going on well for all of you. Thank you very much for watching me and Vanik classes. It is really appreciable to note that you are watching. So that is there. Okay. Thank you very much again.